From CRI Simple Numbers, this is Profitability Playbook, the Simple Numbers Podcast, a podcast for those who champion market growth and anchor the nation's economy, small businesses, and entrepreneurs.
Hey there, welcome to the Simple Numbers Profitability Playbook Podcast. I'm Mike Maxson, that's Brandon Gray, and we got a special episode for you today. I believe it's Season 2, Episode 2. And so we're looking forward to this one. Hey, real quick, but anytime these podcasts or shows, they do special guests, you bring someone on and they're like, hey, listen, I wake up in the morning, I meditate, I measure my breakfast with 2 eggs, 3/4 cup broccoli, and then they cold plunge and they do all this stuff. Well, the guy we're having on today is not like that. And it's really refreshing. Met him when he came and spoke to our mastermind group. And it was great hearing someone talk about what they've done in the business world. And it's just like, oh, hey, I get up in the morning and spend time with my family and work hard. That's it, right? And so it's a great opportunity here for us to hear what he has to say. So, Brandon, why don't you give us an introduction to who we're talking to, since obviously you've known him really well for quite some time, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. Yeah. So we want to welcome Justin Allred to the podcast. I believe Justin is the first guest that we've had, right?
Yes.
Yeah. We got more upcoming here. We get the feedback. You guys get tired of listening to just me and Mike. So, which I don't blame you. I would too. I'm surprised it took this long. But nonetheless, so we're adding guests this year, and Justin's a friend of Simple Numbers. Great entrepreneur, a great business mind, someone that I think you guys will be able to take some really good lessons from, a lot of substance to what he's done. So Justin has a commercial real estate company, construction company, is involved in several other businesses as well as both active and as well as an investor. Really sharp mind, really good at kind of reading the tea leaves and kind of picking the right areas to go into. That of course comes with a lot of due diligence and research and what have you. I think Justin will be the first to tell you he's had some deals and things that have went really well, and some things is kind of like, okay, there were some lessons learned from that, but nonetheless, I think the wins definitely outweigh any of the missteps along the way. But that's just kind of the game, right? You got to jump in and get your uniform dirty, and experience it. So I think a lot about Justin and the things that he's been able to put together, the success that they've had. So like I said, I think we're going to have some lessons we can learn from that. So Justin, welcome. I appreciate your time and your willingness to come on and share some insights with the Simple Numbers community.
Yeah, Brandon and Mike, thank y'all for having me. That brings chills to me, BB in the first. So, I appreciate the opportunity. Appreciate when you guys had me back a few months back to come and speak at one of your conferences. So it's great to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, Justin spoke with our mastermind group back in the fall of 24. Brought a lot of value to that conversation in that group, and was nice to spend some time. Like Mike said, Justin's a hard worker, good guy, and a lot of lessons that can be taken from that. So I guess to kick us off, we're beginning of the year. Everybody's kind of curious. We got a lot going on economically. 24 was a difficult year for some, a really good year for others. We, didn't see a whole lot of folks in the middle. We talked about on previous podcasts, kind of that upstairs and downstairs economy for entrepreneurs. But just as you kind of sit back and read the tea leaves, Justin, what are you expecting for 2025?
My 2025 has been set up a little differently than most. And actually this morning and last night, I've seen a little more fear in the market and fear in some real estate agents, and then also some vendors. Every 15 minutes today, start at 7:15 this morning, I'm meeting with subcontractors on a development that I'm coming out of. And just as we cross the finish line, meeting with them to see what we could do better. Is there any savings there that here at the end that we can grab? And we're also talking about the next project that I'll talk about that's setting me up for 25. And they're all talking about tariffs. And everybody's worried about a price hike, and I don't know what the administrative, what Trump and his team will do, but I don't think that's his goal is to see inflation creep back up because of his plan. So I'm not really worried about it, but there's a lot of people that are. On the real estate side of things, people are concerned that the interest rates are not coming back down.
Right.
I kind of penciled all my deals to be at a 7 or 8. So if we get below that, great. I think we will land around a 5, but some people think that's not going to happen now. So, but for my 25, I was blessed to do a deal with Ryder Logistics that has really just set up my whole year to be really a cakewalk. And I've been blessed with that. I'll tell you, right before I came and spoke to you guys, Ryder had pulled and said, hey, we don't have it in our CapEx budget to build this new building in Huntsville. Thank you for all the time and the money that you've invested, but we're not going to be able to move forward. And luckily, at Christmas, they come back and said, hey, we got it fit in. Will you still do this with us? And I'm like, hell yeah. Yeah. So we're doing it. It's got about 30% profit on it. Being a major corporation, I've been able to fluff that up. Already owning the land has been a big thing and also me being able to do as much as I do in house and to be able to meet their timeline because they've put their back against the wall with a lease that's coming up in December of 25. So my 25 is set up to be great because of that.
Awesome.
Do you notice any, is there a lot of increase on still, at least prices still increasing on labor and materials?
I haven't seen any. This past, from 22 till now, I've been in such large developments. We kind of locked in everything to the best of good. So I haven't seen anything creep up, but I am hearing that this morning. The last meeting I just came out of before I came live with you guys was Service Partners on Sheetrock. And he's saying, hey, we're going to be able to give you a 30-day notice, but they are saying a price hike. And I said, hey, we want to go ahead and buy now then for what we're going to need for that Ryder project because I don't want that hurting my bottom line.
Right. Definitely. He was talking about tariffs. We've had several conversations with clients, and I think, anytime the market has an unknown, it creates a ton of uneasiness. And,
Right.
If you just know the rules of the game, then people kind of can adjust. As we like to say, entrepreneurs typically can overcome, but you got to know the rules of the game. And so, we got a lot of clients that are fortunately been looking ahead and kind of trying to find other outlets for their importing. A few of them that do contract manufacturing are looking at other countries they possibly could do that in and what have you. And I think even, just given the geopolitical risk that's out there, it's not a bad thing, to have a backup plan. So for everybody listening, if all your eggs are in one basket where you're importing from or where your contract manufacturing's at, you need to look at an alternative because you just don't ever know in today's climate what may take place. Another thing you said about the interest rates. So it's been interesting to watch kind of the almost acceptance to some degree of where rates are at. Because I think all of us spent most of 2024 thinking they're coming down, they're coming down, they're coming down. And we get half a point, a quarter point. It's just not really moving the needle to get people off the couch, you may say. But at the end of the day, developers have to develop to make money. Investors have to invest to make money. You can only sit on the couch so long and hope. And I think we are starting to see a group kind of go, all right, we're going to move forward. We're going to go ahead with this project. And like you said, pencil it out for what it is. And hey, if it comes in lower, great. So glad to hear, though. That's exciting that you got the Christmas present, you may say, there at the end of the year to kind of make 25 work out for you.
Literally, we signed the PSA on the 23rd. So
Sweet.
it was a lot of fun.
Definitely.
Yeah.
In terms of, you've had a lot of success, obviously, with your existing businesses, but also, as we've talked in the past, you've done a great job of being able to find other businesses to invest in. And so just kind of share with the audience. I know we got a lot of entrepreneurs that similar position, their business is doing really well, producing cash flow for them. They're wanting to take that then and invest in other businesses. So what are some things that you look for, kind of maybe a little bit about your process and investing in other businesses?
I think it comes back to what my great uncle, the one thing that he taught me the most was patience. Being patient, not wanting a deal, not pushing into a deal. But I tend to look at opportunities, I guess it comes to me a little easier than most because of my subprime lending company. A lot of people come to me for a loan. And a lot of times I'll go, I'll give you a loan, but I'll take some equity in that deal. In the same way, for 2 years ago when I jumped in the power line space, the team of linemen that came to me to put them in business didn't come to me for me to be a business partner, to manage their books, and to ultimately be a president of a power line company. It was for them to borrow money.
Right.
So I think if you can take a second when you have those opportunities and look at those guys, and if there's if you got some trust there, you like the business model, then take that leap of faith with them. And, do the underwriting. There's going to be risk, but there's risk in everything.
Definitely. In terms of some of those deals that you move forward with, and maybe they weren't home runs, any lessons you've learned from that?
I take you back to right when I inherited from the estate. I got a pretty good chunk of cash, and I had this music guy that needed $75,000 to build him a recording studio. And my attorney, who's like a father to me, Jimmy Houston, said Justin did not do that deal. I said, nah, Jimmy, just draft the promissory note, the security agreement. It's going to be fine. He's a good guy. And Jimmy said, Justin, do not do the deal. And my gut was telling me not to do the deal, but for the friendship, I did it anyway, and I went against his words. And still to this day, that bothers me. So follow your gut, but if you've got a mentor that's telling you no, then listen.
Great advice. The hard one's patience. We in the entrepreneurial world, none of us have any patience, and so to look at deal after deal after deal, and we've got several clients who are very active in investing outside their business, and they may look at 100 deals,
right,
and just say no to them, and then you've got a couple to where it seems like it's that first or second time they go down that path. The third deal they come across, they're like, well, I'm tired of looking at them. I just got to go with this one. And most of the time those don't work out. So like what you said there about.
You remember that ESPN 30 for 30, was it called Broke? Where it's about the professional athletes that went broke. Yeah. I remember this just made me think of it when he was saying the music studio I remember Andre Rison was talking about blowing all his money and he said, I just meet a guy in a store. He said, I need some music equipment. He goes, I give him $40,000 for music equipment. And I'm just sitting here, and Dustin started that off with the music studio, and I'm like, oh boy, good thing he caught that.
I think knowing the sandbox, you've got to get into the different sandboxes. But I think having a feel and a little bit of an understanding of that sandbox. Now, on the power line side of things, I can't put up a power line, but the equipment side of things, the bucket trucks, the evaluation of the equipment and stuff is where I got comfortable and knew that I get my equity back out. Push comes to shove if I had to. So,
all right.
Talk a little bit about, one of the difficulties that a lot of folks have as they look at investing is the network. And, how do you find folks? How do you mentioned, kind of getting to know the folks, and you're really investing in the people as much as you are the idea. So what would have been some things that have helped you in kind of expanding that network?
There again, I think patience it plays a factor in that. And I think the power above will bring those people to you or bring you into that circle when it's time. If you don't want to look at the Christian or the biblical part of it, think about the law of attraction. Just being positive mindset and knowing that you need to surround yourself with smarter people at all times. I was invited to a small group, didn't grow up in church. I try to attend church when I can, when schedule allows, with my wife. But I was invited a couple weeks back to a small group that was actually around working out. And we did a John Maxwell book, and we lifted at 5 and then did a small group session from 6 to 6:30. in that circle of people, the networking that went on there was unbelievable. But I got a phone call one night. It's not that I was looking for a small group. It was just somebody invited me. So I think patience is a big part of that.
Good. Nice one. Yeah, I always read things, and or at least over the years, I'm not talking about now. I think I know better now, but you always want to surround yourself with those good people, whether it's in business or just as a person. Anyway, I mean, I think it's the right thing to do if you want to, be a good person or be a good business person. Right. I mean, I'm surprised I've survived with Brandon all this time. I mean.
If you're wanting to better yourself and you're leaving the office at 4:30 and going down to the bar, right. That's, and I've got some great friends that have followed me out of that lifestyle, but I have some that's still there, and I just don't partake in that. Going down to the old Rising Crust here, that's one restaurant I will not eat at here. I'm toxic down there.
So, I agree 100% with both of you guys on that, in terms of surrounding yourselves with the right folks. And if you're an entrepreneur listening and you're not part of a group, an entrepreneurial group of some kind, give us a shout, because we've got a lot of clients across the country that are parts of different groups. And really, you can track back Simple Numbers. One of the, before we were even Simple Numbers, when it was, Greg Crabtree solo kind of, the most pivotal event in our business history was him becoming a part of Entrepreneurs Organization. And without that happening, allowing him access to that network and to get the feedback that we were able to use, feedback from his forum, which is a small group of individual entrepreneur business owners. Those became kind of our foundational principles around just how we wanted to run the business. So, like I said, reach out to us. We're happy to kind of connect you with some folks that can help you become part of those groups. And with the Simple Numbers community model, which we're in the process of rolling out, hopefully that's going to also play a pivotal role in that, to where you guys are more connected with each other, and can find the advice, the guidance. Folks who've been down that path before, it's invaluable without a doubt. So,
and we have Brandon, our own mastermind group. I mean, I can't tell you, it's probably my most favorite thing we do here, and just getting in the room with everyone. That's how I met Justin. That's how I met other business owners and entrepreneurs. Man, just some smart people throwing out some things, and it's been good to hear. This isn't bad, but I've enjoyed hearing their mess ups and their screw ups, because what they've learned from it and what they've been able to overcome, it's even more, inspiring, and then an understanding of like, hey, they've not been perfect this whole time.
You talked about personal growth there, Justin, and one of the things that I think you guys have done a phenomenal job, as you've told me a little bit more about your company, is developing not only, the executives, but the entire team. So kind of walk us through a few things that you guys do inside your business that has allowed you guys to build that strong team.
Guys, I think it starts at the bottom all the way down from the laborers through the executive team. And I listen. As I shared at the mastermind, when y'all invited me to come down, I shared about my leadership conference that we'll have coming up, be the fourth year this coming September. And I listened to those guys, and I pushed them to get things out of them. And the one thing they wanted to see was we called it a trade day, where we set up different sectors. We brought in all of our equipment. We had concrete, a place to do concrete pouring. We had a place to do paving. We had a place to do framing. And on December the 20th, we invited all their families with them. And we started at 6:30. We went until 5:30 that afternoon. And we had competitions. They got to get on the paver. They got to get on the curve machine. They got to sign up for different things to orient themselves with other tasks in the construction field. And that was something that I learned from them at the leadership conference. So that, I think, just pouring back into your people, doesn't have to be a ton, doesn't have to be a bunch of money, but time, showing them that you care is so important. That them getting to see that hey, I put my pants on one leg at a time also is very important. And that takes place at that leadership conference. That takes place at that trade day. Them getting to see me step up and speak there and stumble over my words and be nervous and see that I have all the same emotions that they have.
Right.
So,
Connection.
yes.
So you were talking about, you know, them seeing you struggle. I know you've had some challenges personally that you've kind of overcome to kind of get you to where you are today. So just kind of share, if you don't mind, a little bit with everybody that's listening, some of the challenges that you've had and, you know, the ways you were able to overcome those.
Yeah. My biggest challenge in life is I have dyslexia. Spelling is not my strong part. Reading is not my strong part. But giving that to my mom and to the special ed team at Brooks High School, you know, with a 504 plan and learning how to work around that learning disability has been huge. But also being able to speak about it, but know that you're not the strongest and smartest person in the room, and to surround yourself with that smarter person is totally unbelievable what that can do for you. You can still lead and still be the president of a company and not be the smartest person. Out of the 14 people that's in this office today, I'm probably the least smartest here.
I like it. I think that's a great message, especially to some of the folks who, if you want to share this with, you know, your kids or other teenagers or folks that are, you know, that you serve as a mentor for. And that's a great example and a great story to be able to say, hey guys, you know, life deals you a hand. It's all about how you're going to play it. You know,
That's
the thoughts you have and how you talk to yourself through it and those. And I'm really big on that and working with young athletes. And I think it, you know, it also goes with entrepreneurs and just the folks on your team. You know, if you went through a planning session with us, you've heard us kind of talk about the, you know, we go through all the numbers and what we got to do as a business to get better and improve. And we try to close it out by reminding everybody that as an entrepreneur, you get to play a very special role and that you impact hundreds of people every day. And so what kind of impact are you making on them to better themselves and better their lives and the lives of their family? All right. I'm kind of, we've talked a little bit about this, and so I want to bring it up because I think it's really cool. So you mentioned the leadership conference that you guys have. So tell us just a little bit about that in terms of, I think last year you guys had a really high profile speaker at it, maybe just a couple of things that you took away from that.
Yeah. So coming up on the fourth year, the past 2 years, I have held a leadership conference for my internal construction team. Typically started around 30. Now we're up to 45. I think there's 47 slated to go this year. And where we take a day of play. So I did Disney World. I did Universal this past year.
Nice.
Second year, we're going to travel up to Daytona Beach, and they'll get to drive a NASCAR.
All right.
The Speedway, and then we're going to do a lunch, and they'll get to see the college that I attended called Embry-Riddle right outside of the Speedway there. And then we'll go back to Orlando. I'll always put them up at the Four Seasons because in construction, that's my standard. The Four Seasons does a wonderful job from the staff to the cleanness. And we'll bring in a speaker. This past year, I brought in Tim Grover, who
there we go.
Wow.
Love that book, man. That's one of the best books I've read. Relentless, right? That one? Yeah, that's one of my favorite books. Great book.
You talking about an epic, I mean, just put together, squared away gentleman that it was unbelievable. And he started the conference by going around the room and just having people tell basically what they were grateful for. And he says that in the middle of it, he rewrote in his mind what he was going to do once he read the room. I mean, just to see him on his feet and how he interacted with those guys down from a laborer to an executive, from a white, a black, to a Guatemalan dude with wearing an earpiece to be able to understand what he was saying was unbelievable. And if you'll give me 1 second, I'm going to grab my notebook.
Yeah, go right ahead. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So while Justin's doing that, if you're not familiar with Tim Grover, he was the personal trainer for Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Dwayne Wade. and his book, one of his books is Unstoppable, and you talk about a book around mindset and getting out of the bed every morning and just attacking it. And he really has.
Was it Relentless or Unstoppable? I thought it was Relentless.
It might be Relentless.
I think it's Relentless.
Look it up real quick.
Unstoppable. I am right now. Yeah, I think Unstoppable sounds good too.
Maybe that's going to be his second book.
Oh no! You were close. It was Relentless, from good to great to unstoppable. It's kind of the tagline. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were all around it, but yeah. So he tells some really good stories in that book, and one of my favorites is he's talking about training MJ, and it's 10 o'clock at night. He's just finished playing a game, and Grover walks up to him and he says 5, 6, or 7. And Jordan looks at him and gives a number back. He says like 7. Well, that was the time he was going to be at the gym the next morning. While everyone else is going to go out and, celebrate the win or whatever, Jordan's going home, going to bed, and getting up the next morning to get better. And that's the greatest basketball player in NBA history. So just that, kind of creating that kind of mindset. So nonetheless, that's a little bit about Grover.
So talking about celebration, we did about an hour of him doing his thing, and then we did a 30-minute Q&A with just me and him in front of the team. And the one thing I took away was kind of back to that with Jordan was celebrate hard, not long. If you want to party, you want to blow some money, take a jet somewhere, go celebrate, but let's not make it a month-long celebration.
Yeah.
That hit home with me, and then I'll probably butcher this, but I'm going to try to get through it, was where he talks about greatness and not being willing to pay for that greatness.
Mm-hmm.
And get up, do the work, practice, put in the work. And he says, but if you think that's too much, he said, wait till you get the bill for regret.
That's a good one.
No doubt.
Wow. Yeah. And he said, that bill for regret, that's going to carry on for generations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, that's strong.
Yeah. So I would say that's the two out of a notebook here of things that I took from Tim. And he's coming back this year.
Awesome.
So, we could talk about making y'all a part of that in some way.
Yeah, great. That'd be cool. I think the takeaway there is you just, as Justin said, it's caring for the team. It's investing in the team. It's showing them a standard. So I don't know if you guys caught that, but they stayed the 4 seasons. And as Justin said, because that's his standard whenever it comes to his business and being able for folks to experience that firsthand. And then obviously, planting into them some of the best principles from, folks that have lived it. You take that, do you want to pay the price now or get the bill from regret later? That's a pretty good coaching principle. It hasn't got some legs to it. So I like that without a doubt. So, but be patient without a doubt.
Be patient. And then the third thing was just being coachable, approachable, and teachable at all times, even as the president of a corporation or as a board member. When you think you've made it to the top, you had. So always having those 3 things.
Yeah, I'll tell you, even our clients, we all talk to different businesses, and they call us for, I got my own clients who call me and, hey, Mike, we got to look at these financial things, and I give it to them. But I'll tell you, I feel sometimes I've learned 10 times more than what they learned from me, and maybe they say that about me. I don't know, but I think that anytime you can get in front of someone that knows something different, man, figure out whatever you can from them, because you never know when it might be useful.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason. I mean, I think there's a reason we're born with 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Right.
Hey, I'll take my big takeaway is party hard, not long. Brandon, that's why you just do the all-nighters, man.
Good deal. Well, Justin, thank you, man. This has been great. I think you
Appreciate it.
shared a lot of insights, a lot of good takeaways here that our audience will be able to take and listen to. If you got questions, like we talked about earlier, around that network and creating that, around what you expect for 25, thought that was interesting. If you guys caught on at the very beginning when Justin said I hadn't heard much uncertainty until the last week or two, and now folks are kind of starting to get a little concerned with the tariffs and what have you. But happy we can talk more about that. And like I said, just shoot us a line. We're more than happy to chat with you guys if you want to learn more. We can definitely help you there. So thanks again, Justin. Great insights as always. Appreciate the friendship. Appreciate your time and coming on today and sharing some of this with entrepreneurs around the country.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Justin. Appreciate it.
Yeah, y'all have a great day.
Yeah, we appreciate it. All right, everybody. That's it for episode 2 of season 2. So we'll catch you later, and all right, next week, I guess we'll have another one out. So talk to you soon.
If you want to know more about driving sustainable profitability for your business, or are interested in learning more about CRI Simple Numbers, please visit our website at simplenumberscri.com. Thanks for listening to this episode of Profitability Playbook, the Simple Numbers Podcast. You can subscribe to Profitability Playbook on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you prefer to listen to podcasts. If you liked what you heard today, please leave us a review. The views expressed on Profitability Playbook, the Simple Numbers Podcast, are those of the presenter and moderator and do not necessarily reflect the views of CRI Simple Numbers or the CRI family of companies. This podcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only and is not intended to replace professional advice received directly. Consult with your CRI Simple Numbers advisor or another trusted professional if you have questions about your specific situation.